One local fire department is warning owners to park 50 feet away from any structure.
And that those fires can come anywhere from days to weeks later.
What they're finding is not only is it EV, electric vehicles, but it's scooters and electric bicycles.
Stop. Do not buy an EV. I repeat, do not buy an EV right now. If you or anyone even living near you owns an EV, you don't want to miss this. Electric vehicles are putting you and your family's lives at risk. Electric vehicles are hailed as the future. But what happens when the future collides with Mother Nature's fury? Recently, Florida was slammed by Hurricane Idalia, and something shocking happened. Electric vehicles coming into contact with the ocean saltwater began to catch fire. This was not just one occurrence, but an unsettling trend that's far from over. What's even scarier is that the risk of ignition lasts for weeks after the storm, so your car could be at risk too. Imagine what could happen if you're just driving and your car goes up in flames like that. Look, I know that electric cars are here to save the planet, but can they save themselves? Are EVs really as safe as we've been led to believe? How exactly did a Tesla go up in flames in broad daylight? And most importantly, are EVs near your home at risk too? Now picture yourself steering your way through Florida's shoreline, when all of a sudden, smoke, flames, and the suffocating realization that your electric car is now a ticking time bomb. That's what happened in the wake of Hurricane Idalia, as first responders and local officials issue stark warnings about the startling risk of electric vehicle fires. A Tesla car caught fire in Dunedin, Florida, attributed to a lethal cocktail of saltwater flooding and lithium-ion batteries, says Kathy Perkins, Pinellas County Emergency Management Director. In a press conference, she urgently advised, if you have an electric vehicle and it is flooded with salt water, please do not keep it in your garage or right next to your home. It is susceptible to spontaneous combustion. The nightmare didn't stop there. Deputy Chief Rob Angel recounts a harrowing incident where another Tesla fire took place. The owner wisely called a tow truck when the car flooded, but the situation escalated quickly. They noticed the car smoking, pulled over, and the car was rapidly engulfed in flames. Fire crews had to pour a minimum of 150 gallons of water a minute for almost an hour to extinguish the blaze. And even then, the lithium-ion batteries were still hot enough to fry an egg on, says Angel. This isn't some freak accident. The U.S. Fire Administration recorded a chilling 12 EV fires following Hurricane Ian last year. One was so ferocious, it burned down 2 houses. And it will be even worse this year. Remember, ignition can happen days to weeks after the initial flood. That's right, folks. This is far from over. And let's get real. Florida is the second largest hub for electric vehicles in the United States, boasting 168,000 registered EVs. But beyond cars, this issue spills over into other facets of daily life. Palm Harbor Fire Rescue officials caution that even electric golf carts and scooters are ticking fire bombs if they come into contact with salt water. Tesla itself is sounding the alarm bells, advising owners to move any flooded cars at least 50 feet away from buildings or flammable materials. If you notice fire, smoke, audible popping or hissing, or heating coming from your vehicle, step away and immediately contact your first responders, warns Tesla on its website. Lithium-ion battery packs consist of a group of cells inside a compartment and contain a flammable liquid electrolyte. EV and plug-in hybrid vehicles have about 1,000 times more cells than an e-bike, according to a report by the CBS News Innovation Lab. Higher energy batteries with more cells are at greater risk of failing. As Angel suggests, local fire departments are scrambling to create standard operating procedures for dealing with EV fires, a problem that only seems to be escalating. We're doing all of our homework to make sure we're taking the safest and most effective precautions, Angel concludes. The next time you hear the thunderclap of an incoming storm, think twice about where your EV is parked. Because when nature's fury meets modern technology, the results can be not just damaging, but downright explosive. But how does an EV catch fire? And if we do know the reason, why is no one doing anything to stop this? According to the USFA, the presence of salt can form conductive bridges within the battery components, causing short circuits and potentially lethal temperatures. Let's break down the science in layman's terms. Electric vehicles are powered by lithium-ion batteries. When salt water infiltrates these batteries, the salt can create what experts call conductive bridges, a fancy term for shortcuts that bypass the battery's normal pathways. This causes electrical short circuits, and the next thing you know, you've got a bonfire on 4 wheels. Remember, salt doesn't just enhance the flavor of your French fries, it can also spice up an electrical fire. But it gets worse. What many people don't realize is that while gas-powered car fires are often the result of a collision or mechanical failure, which are more or less predictable events, EV fires can happen when you least expect them. Gas and diesel cars have their own set of risks, true. We all remember the Ford Pinto fiasco of the 1970s, where rear-end collisions resulted in fires. However, gas-powered cars have had decades to improve safety mechanisms, resulting in drastically reduced risks of fire. In fact, according to a FEMA report, the rate of fire incidents for gas-powered cars was just 1.7 fires per 1,000 vehicles back in 2015. Plus, firefighters know how to handle a gas or diesel fire. They've been doing it for years. They're still figuring out the best ways to handle EV fires, and that lack of experience can be downright dangerous. And if you're thinking, hey, this is just due to salt water, I'm totally safe, aren't I? Well, think again. This is what Jennifer Rutolo thought, and look at what it did to her house. Jennifer Rutolo of Nocatee, Florida, had the scare of her life when a loaner Mercedes-Benz EQ E350 Plus she had parked in her garage caught fire spontaneously. The car wasn't even charging when it went up in flames, and the tragedy was massive. Her home of 5 years is possibly a total loss, and the emotional cost, immeasurable. She stated, "I feel blessed that my husband is alive. He was right on the next side of the wall. He could be, should be dead. And he's alive and our puppy is alive, so I'm thankful for that. This could have been devastating and life-changing, but at this point, it is just a challenge." In Wareham, Massachusetts, another chilling incident occurred. An electric vehicle burst into flames while parked in a driveway. The firefighter spent over 3 hours and more than 11,000 gallons of water to extinguish the fire. According to Fire Chief John Kelly, if this vehicle had been parked in the garage, the results could have been disastrous. Then in Phoenix, Arizona, the fire department had to resort to burying a Waymo car that caught fire to prevent it from reigniting. A thermal runaway in the lithium-ion battery makes these EV fires notoriously difficult to put out. It's a ticking bomb that might not only go off unexpectedly, but also might reignite even after you think you've put out the fire, like those birthday candles that keep coming back. And who could forget the shocking incidents involving Tesla cars? After a Tesla crashed in a North Valley building, the vehicle went up in flames in like 30 seconds. According to witness Alexandra Topol, despite its reputation for innovation, even Tesla isn't immune to these catastrophic failures. While a 2021 Highway Loss Data Institute study found that EVs don't catch fire any more often than traditional cars, we must remember that the fleet of EVs on the road is significantly smaller, newer, and less varied than their fossil fuel counterparts. As of early 2023, 7% of new vehicles sold were all electric. What happens when this percentage grows? What happens when these cars age? Older vehicles are more prone to fires, and that includes EVs. As these electric vehicles age, we can only expect an increase in the number of catastrophic fires. And it can take from days to weeks later, warns Patrick Olson, spokesperson for Carfax. Yes, you heard that right, weeks. Your electric car, sitting there all innocent-like, can actually be a ticking time bomb, ready to unleash chaos at any moment. I have heard EV owners say, "I don't have an engine that can be flooded, so I can drive in deep water." That's not the case, Olson cautions. Remember, water may be a great mix with gin, but it's a deadly cocktail when combined with your EV's lithium-ion battery. The mix can cause electrical shorts, overheating, and before you know it, you're calling 911. But wait, there's more. Even if you do the right thing and call emergency responders, don't assume you're out of the woods. Andrew Klock, the head of electric vehicle training for firefighters at the National Fire Protection Association, reveals a chilling truth. Often, they don't direct the water to the proper place, so even the professionals may not know how to douse the fire monster your electric car has become. If the water isn't aimed under the chassis where the battery sits, your firefighting efforts are like trying to stop a volcano with a garden hose. Useless. So here's the brutal reality. An electric car can become a pyrotechnic show of horrors days to weeks after you thought the danger has passed. This isn't a drill, folks. This isn't hypothetical. This is a fatal flaw lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce when you least expect it. Be warned. Be cautious. And for the love of everything sacred, don't let your guard down. That sleek, eco-friendly car in your driveway could be your worst enemy, plotting its fiery betrayal when you least expect it.